Have you ever wondered how the eternal city of Rome, a civilization that shaped the Western world, came to be? The story isn't just one of politics and armies, it's a legend steeped in myth. A tally of God's mortals, brotherhood, and betrayal. This is the story of Romulus and Remus, the twin founders of Rome. Our story begins in the ancient kingdom of Alba Longa, a city in central Italy. The rightful king Numitor was a good and just ruler. However, his reign was tragically cut short by his own brother Aemilius. Consumed by jealousy and ambition, Aemilius usurped the throne, killed Numitor's sons, and forced Numitor's only daughter, Rhea Silvia, to become a Vestal Virgin. This was a cruel but calculated move. Vestal virgins were sworn to a life of celibacy, ensuring Rhea Silvia would never bear children who could one day challenge Aemilius for the throne. But destiny, as it often does, had other plans. The god of war, Mars, was captivated by Rhea Silvia's beauty. He visited her, and from their union, she conceived twin boys. When the tyrannical king Aemilius discovered the birth of the twins, he was furious. His plan to eliminate any potential rivals had failed. Fearing the prophecy that Numitor's descendants would one day overthrow him, he ordered the infants to be drowned in the Tiber River. A servant was tasked with this grim duty. However, his heart was filled with pity for the innocent babies. He couldn't bring himself to commit such a monstrous act. Instead of throwing them into the raging currents, he placed the twins in a small red basket and set it afloat on the river, hoping for a miracle. The river had recently flooded its banks, so the currents were gentler than usual. The basket drifted downstream, eventually coming to rest at the base of a fig tree, the ficus root, near what would later be known as the Palatine Hill. Here, the first miracle occurred. The cries of the infants attracted a she-wolf, a creature usually feared by humans. But this was no ordinary wolf. Instead of harming the boys, she was moved by compassion. The she-wolf, known in Latin as Lupa, gently carried the twins to her den and nursed them alongside her own cubs, saving them from starvation. A little later, a woodpecker, a bird sacred to the god Mars, also helped, bringing them bits of food. They were children of a god, and nature itself seemed determined to protect them. Their unlikely survival continued when they were discovered by a shepherd named Faustulus. He and his wife, Acca Larentia, had long wished for children of their own. Seeing the two boys being cared for by a wolf, Faustulus believed it was a sign from the gods. He took the twins home, named them Romulus and Remus, and raised them as his own sons. Growing up among the shepherds on the hills of ancient Italy, Romulus and Remus proved to be no ordinary boys. They were natural leaders, strong, brave, and charismatic. They possessed a commanding presence that drew others to them. They spent their youth herding flocks, hunting wild animals, and defending their community from robbers. They were inseparable, their bond as brothers forged in the wild and tempered by shared challenges. As they grew into manhood, their true lineage remained a secret. They were known simply as the sons of Faustulus, but their noble bearing and exceptional abilities hinted at a greater destiny. One day, a dispute broke out between the shepherds of Numitor, their grandfather, and the shepherds of Aemilius. During the conflict, Remus was captured and taken to Alba Longa to face the king. Faustulus had always suspected the twins' royal origins, fearing for Remus's life. He finally revealed the truth to Romulus, that they were the grandsons of the deposed king Numitor, and that the man who now held Remus captive was the very same tyrant who had ordered their death as infants. Armed with this shocking revelation, Romulus rallied a group of loyal shepherds and marched on Alba Longa. Meanwhile, inside the city, Remus was brought before his grandfather, Numitor, who was living a quiet life in exile. Numitor was struck by the young man's noble appearance and defiant spirit. As he questioned Remus about his past, the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. The age, the story of being found by the river, it all matched. At the same time, Romulus launched his attack on the palace. The city rose up against the hated tyrant Aemilius. In the ensuing chaos, the brothers fought their way to the throne room and killed their great-uncle, ending his tyrannical reign. With Amulius defeated, the throne of Alba was theirs for the taking. But instead of ruling there, they restored their grandfather Numitor to his rightful place as king. Their own ambitions lay elsewhere. They decided to return to the place where they had been saved, the 7 hills by the Tiber River, and build a new city of their own. This is where our story of brotherhood takes a tragic turn. The 2 brothers, who had shared everything, now faced a critical decision: where exactly to build their new city. Romulus favored the Palatine Hill, where the she-wolf had found them. Remus preferred the Aventine Hill, which he felt was more defensible. They couldn't agree. To settle the dispute, they decided to turn to augury, a common practice of seeking signs from the gods through the flight of birds. They each stood on their chosen hill and waited. Remus was the first to see a sign: 6 vultures flying overhead. He immediately claimed victory. But shortly after, Romulus saw a flock of 12 vultures. He argued that his sign was more powerful, as the number was double. The ambiguity of the omen who saw it first versus who saw a greater number only fueled their disagreement. The argument escalated from a simple debate into a bitter rivalry. What happened next is told in a few different versions, but they all end in tragedy. In the most common telling, Romulus began to build a wall around his chosen spot on the Palatine Hill to mark the boundaries of his new city. Remus, in a fit of mockery and defiance, leaped over the half-built wall, belittling his brother's efforts. Enraged that his authority had been challenged and his sacred boundary violated, Romulus struck his brother down. In some versions, it's one of Romulus's followers who delivers the fatal blow. Regardless of who wielded the weapon, Remus was dead, killed by his own twin. The foundation of the new city was stained with the blood of a brother. Filled with grief and remorse, but resolute in his vision, Romulus continued the work alone. He named the city Rome after himself. On April 21st, 753 BC, according to tradition, the city of Rome was founded. Romulus became its first king. To populate his new city, he declared it a sanctuary for fugitives, exiles, and runaway slaves. Men from all over the region flocked to Rome, but there was one major problem: there were no women. To Sulbatius, Romulus devised a cunning and controversial plan. He invited the neighboring Sabine tribe to a grand festival. During the festivities, at a signal from Romulus, his men seized the unmarried Sabine women and carried them off to be their wives. This event, known as the Rape of the Sabine Women, led to a fierce war with the Sabines. The war raged on until the Sabine women themselves intervened. They had, over time, come to accept their new husbands and had children with them. Torn between their fathers and their husbands, they ran onto the battlefield, holding their babies, and pleaded for the fighting to stop. Their courage and love brought an end to the war. The Romans and Sabines united, ruling together under the joint kingship of Romulus and the Sabine king, Titus. After Tatius's death, Romulus ruled alone for many years, establishing Rome's first legions, its senate, and many of its earliest customs. The end of Romulus's life is as legendary as its beginning. One day, during a storm, he was reviewing his troops when a whirlwind enveloped him, lifting him up into the sky. He was never seen again. His people believed that his father, the god Mars, had taken him to live among the gods. He was later worshipped as the Roman god Quip. The legend of Romulus and Remus is more than just a founding myth. It's a story that reveals the very character of ancient Roma city, born from divine intervention and human struggle, founded on both noble ambition and brutal violence. It highlights the Roman values of courage, strength, and destiny, but also the ever-present dangers of pride and internal conflict. The she-wolf became a powerful symbol of Rome, representing the city's miraculous survival and its maternal protection of its people. The story of brotherhood and betrayal, at its heart, served as a timeless warning for a civilization that would later be torn apart by its own civil wars. From 2 abandoned babies nursed by a wolf to the founders of an empire that would rule the known world, the legend of Romulus and Remus is a powerful testament to the idea that from the most humble and violent beginnings, greatness can arise. It's a story that has echoed through the millennia, forever embedded in the foundations of the eternal city. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient mythology, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next video. See you next time.